All right. Well, hey, Coaches Up for Change. It's Dee Corchin, Meg Johnson, and we are here for our weekly team time. We have been looking forward to this. Much of our leadership team was at the Launch to Global event in Dallas. So if you're new to our team or didn't know what that was, it was in a personal development and business development weekend. And we had a special guest speaker with the author of 15 Levels of Conscious Leadership, Jim Dethmer, and Dr. A, Dan Bell, some of the top leaders. We were able to connect together as a group, which was wonderful. So what we wanted to do was to come back today and share, because I know some of us maybe wanted to attend and circumstances were such that we were not able to, or some were just kind of getting into this and we're like, okay, why do we go to events? So really wanted to kind of share with you what our big takeaways were, and also specifically what our action is going to be since we have been back. So Meg, do you want to share anything before we get going?
Yes. It was just such a great reminder of the importance of being together in community. And I know we've got convention coming up, and I am more excited than I was before about that, just being together. And one of the new coaches who's brand new in the organization who was there was like, man, this community shows up for each other and everyone is welcome. And that is the goal for all of us. So I just want to encourage you, if you hear some things tonight, I just want you to know that you are wanted. And we can't wait to spend time with you at the next event, just like this one. So I think sometimes we can have the fear of missing out and the noises can get loud, and that can either make us bitter or it can make us better. So I just want to encourage you to maybe listen with an open heart and know that even if you weren't there, we really wish that you were. And our goal tonight is to give you all the gold nuggets that we learned and bring it to you. So I'm just excited to hear what everybody has to say.
Yeah, me too. We're going to pack a lot in. We wanted to hear from several different coaches, different experience levels, et cetera. And I am a huge proponent of events, and I actually spent quite a few, hours before the, weeks prior to the event, really praying about and identifying who did I really want to be there, making some phone calls when needed, because I know that events have been pivotal in my success. I can't say it enough. I feel like I can just keep shouting it from the rooftops, but sometimes we get ideas in our head that we're not sure if we want to go to events or if we want to invest in them, but I have always found them to be worthwhile. And one of the first questions on the first leadership day was, what have you come here to get? Right. And this is not just supposed to be a feel good, fuzzy, what we call jacuzzi experience. What are you here for? So I just thought I would share with you what I wrote down on day one, and then what I felt like, as I walked away from that. So what I wrote was that I wanted peace and confirmation that where I am right now in my business and in my personal life is exactly where I am supposed to be. I wanted clarity of my next steps, not the whole path, just my next steps. I wanted connection and love with my team. Wanted renewed energy and passion for the mission. And I wanted the desire and the confidence to grow the business and make greater impact. And I can tell you truly from my heart, I walked away with all of that and even more from it. Tons of gold nuggets. But what I realized was my business is exactly where it's supposed to be, but there's also so much more opportunity. And really being in connection with so many of each of you that were there was that reminder. But just hearing from Dr. A reminded me of the same. So Meg, I didn't know if you had any big takeaways before we start having our coaches share.
Absolutely. One is what we learned about an inner critic. And I don't know about you, but my inner critic can be really loud. And so the advice Jim gave us was when you start to hear the inner critic, and you might even hear it tonight, who knows, but to thank that inner critic. All it's trying to do is keep you safe, right? It's not trying to mess you up. So he always recommends to say thank you I know you're just trying to help me. I know you're just trying to keep me safe, but please sit down, because that inner critic is not what we want to drive us. And Dr. A mentioned something that was just such a good reminder. I mean, we know this world is basically on fire right now, right? And people's bodies and their minds and their finances everywhere, right? There's all, I mean, every time I open up the news, I like want to turn it off because it's scary out there. And what we offer with Optavia, the transformation in people's bodies and their minds and their finances, it's kind of like having water in the middle of a drought. And those were Dr. A's words. And sometimes I think we can forget like how powerful what we have really is. And so it's such a good reminder. Yes, there are, different things out there on the market all the time, right? But what we offer is so unique. We offer the opportunity to help people have somebody to give them support, encouragement. We offer a community, and we offer helping somebody take full responsibility for their health. So, I mean, so many great takeaways, but those were just a couple of the top ones that I loved. I would love to hear from some of the leaders who came. Bethany, can we start with you? Would you come off a mute and share with us a quote that you heard and an action step that you plan to take moving forward?
Yeah, so you kind of segued into what I was going to say. Way to go, Meg. Good job. But so what I came away with the most, there was so much, but what I came away with the most was actually something that I've heard a lot in my 3 years of coaching, but it actually is something that clicked this time. So we are not just a weight loss program. We are a program for optimal health. So that includes your physical, your mental, and your financial. And so one thing that I've come away with is not just pursuing people who are looking to better their health physically, but like to think about those people who mentally might need this community. Maybe there are people in my life who haven't really been surrounded by people like us, or just need somebody to be in their corner. That is somebody who could benefit from our program as a coach, not even just a client, but even a person financially. Somebody who I know who maybe does not like their job that they're in or struggling, our program can give them life in that area. And that is something I have not looked at those two sides outside of the physical part until this retreat. And so looking at people in my life differently and seeing more people that I can actually talk to is something that I came away with. And I already started talking to 2 of my family members, they don't even do the program, but who I think could benefit from coaching. I already reached out to them. Now, who knows if that'll happen, but it's something that's just changed the way I thought. And I just want to say 2 quotes. So in our particular track, somebody told us, be unapologetic of helping people in their health and wealth. So unapologetic, like do it, go help people in those areas. And lastly, I want to be a footprint in the sand, not a whisper in the wind. So the things that I want to do, I want to leave my footprint. I just don't want to be blown away in a whisper. So that's it.
That is so good, Bethany. Thank you for sharing that. And wow, way to get into action, right? Already with starting to make your list bigger. And I really hope that all of us that's a huge takeaway for every single one of us, to be thinking about Optavia for the people in your world, not just looking for somebody who you think might need to lose weight, or thinking that that's all you're offering to somebody. It can be radical life change. And myself, I mean, I've shared before, somebody approached me directly about this program, right? For whatever reason, I was on their list, and I'm so grateful, right? And so several of our leaders are the same way. So congratulations, you are going to change lives, Bethany. So that's awesome. I would love to hear from Pat Daniel. So Pat, you're an experienced coach, have been to several events and we're echoing. I'll just let you take over, Pat. Go.
Can you hear me okay? Is it okay? So I got so much out of it, and just always get so much just from being with the community. Just let me say, anybody that ever wonders whether they should ever go to an event, do it if for nothing else than to be with these people and get to know them better. That could be my entire takeaway. But there was also great teaching. I would say that one of the things that really hit home with me, I've been kind of in a place in the last at least year in my personal health and in my coaching business. I've just been kind of stuck. And so one of the things that one of the quotes that kind of got me was that you know what you're committed to by the results you're getting, and that there's a difference in what you're willing to do and what you're wanting. And so and my clients are the same way. I've got so many clients that say the same thing. I want to lose weight. I want to do this. I say I'm starting, every Monday, and then something happens. And so obviously there's a disconnect there. And so my action step for coming up, one is that I'm just going to go back through my notes and really write down all the things that I want to remember and get back to, but really simple. I've got, and Dee kind of said this to me the last time that we were on a coaching call before the conference. So I'm sure that's another reason why it's stuck in my head. But one of the things was also about keeping agreements with others and with yourself. And so I think right now I've got to start really specific, really easy, and really small, and say, like, for the next month, I will have a call with Dee every week. That's an easy thing I can do. And maybe for the next 7 days, I will get my water in. Do something that I know I can do, and then make the commitment and do it, and then get that win, and then write it out, check it off, know that I did it, and get my integrity with myself and confidence in myself to start building back up with wins, and then grow from there.
Oh man, Pat, so many in there. I loved how you talked about making agreements with yourself, and maybe if you're out there, maybe being on team time is going to be one of the agreements you're going to choose to make with yourself. Setting that alarm for every Monday night and joining us here as we grow to having 100 coaches on the call. And such a great point about what you're willing to do versus what you're wanting. And I felt so convicted. Didn't feel great when Jim reminded us that our results are what we are committed to. So even our weight, the results of our weight are what we are committed to. I don't know how many times I've told Dee I'm committed to a certain weight, but the scale isn't moving. So that means I'm really not committed, am I? So it was very, very convicting. Thank you, Pat, for sharing that with us. Let's move now to Jen Davis. Jen, would you share something?
Yeah, definitely. Hey guys, how's it going? I had a great time in Dallas. This was the second time that I got to go, and I just thought it was so much fun. Like everybody said, specifically Pat said, the community is fantastic. So it was so fun to see everybody in person. And I feel like it makes even these calls even more special and impactful, because the people that we're seeing on the screen are people that we know their stories and we know their journey, and we've met them in person. And the cool thing is, a couple people and I agreed, it's everybody that's just like us, right? It's people that like to be kind and generous and helpful, but also learn and grow and progress their business. And so it's just really fun to all get together because we have so much in common. So I wrote down a few things that I really loved. So specifically for me, I really love how Dr. A always talks about how we're on a mission. Like, mission is such a strong and important word. And, his mission obviously is to get the world healthy. And I think it's so cool that we can walk alongside him and hear directly from him and from Dan Bell, who have created this program. Like, they've written the book. And I think it's so cool that we can hear their teachings and what their intentions are, and hear their passion for helping people achieve health. And for me personally, I've got to hear him speak a few times, and I can just tell that he really believes in this, and I trust him, and I trust what he's saying and what he's teaching. And it's so cool because that's so easy to latch onto when you have a program that you trust, and information that you can lean on, that is truthful and factful. And so I really love that we get to learn specifically from Dr. A. So a couple of takeaways. You guys mentioned a few of them, so I'll skip those just so I don't repeat. But I really loved hearing to get clear on what you really want, and nothing will get in your way. So the point is, if we know what we're going for, we'll find a way to get there. We'll make the moves. If we need to, make sure that we're on a team time so that we can progress and learn, we'll make sure that our husband's taking care of the kids and putting them to bed, right? Like, we make it happen. So if we're clear on what we want, nothing will get in our way. We can make it happen. One of the presenters, I think it was Jamil, talked about, like, if somebody was on fire, if you saw somebody that was on fire, what would you do? And the answer was, you would look, you would go up, you would help, you would be attracted to them. And so his point was to light yourself on fire, and people will be attracted toward you. And because they're looking, they're seeing what you're doing. Man, why is she so excited? Why is she so passionate? Like, this is huge. I need to pay attention. Like, it kind of it can be contagious, I guess. The second piece that Jamil mentioned is, and you guys may have heard his story before, but he said, he stood up and asked Dr. A, how do I get my coaches to do what I want them to do? And he said, no, you're missing the point. He said, you find out what they want and you help them get what they want. So it's not about me. It's not about me pushing my coaches to do certain things. It's finding what's important to them, and helping them achieve that, being a mentor to help them achieve that. And then we all succeed. They talked about that it was a win-win-win. Our clients win because they're getting their health in a better position. We win, our coaches win, everybody wins. It's awesome. And then the fact that everyone is looking for more. So same thing, finding out what people want. We just have to figure out what that more is. Some people want more financially. Some people want more time freedom. And if we find that out and we're listening, we're asking those questions instead of maybe telling them or imposing to them our opinion. If we listen to what they want, we can really find out what that more is and help them take off and achieve it. That's when they get excited. And then the last thing is I love how they just say, we're changing lives and we're realizing and recognizing that there's a better way. We're showing people that may be blinded. They may have no idea that there's a better way to health because they're stuck in generational chains and things like that. And so we're just sharing this awesome gift and this great news to say, hey guys, you don't have to live not feeling good and, feeling down and out. There is a better way. And so I love that we can introduce that to people.
Thank you for that, Jen. I think that's so important what you said about being reminded of the mission. And I can tell that you saw it bigger, right? You saw bigger, the gift you have in your hands. And that's something I think is so important, right? Like when we get back home, right? We come back home. Even Meg and I were joking initially. We were kind of like, you get back and you're kind of like, what just happened this weekend? I can't remember what I learned. Like it's important to be intentional, right? Going back through our notes, figuring it out, but also, when you're isolated and in what you're doing, and then you get a premiere cancellation and then somebody says no, it's easy for that story, right? We learned about stories to start in our heads. So being grounded and being reminded of the mission and what we have is just so important. So I'm glad that was one of your big takeaways, and then also that crystal clarity of what it is that you want to create is so important. And it's possible for all of us, you guys. We talk about handing this gift to other people, but it is in your hands. It is in your hands for you and your family. And I know that several of us said it was good to be away just to actually start to dream again for themselves. I know Bethany, you were one that said that, and Lauren, when I talked to at the airport, Lauren McCabe. So thank you for that reminder as well. So let's move on. I want you to hear from Kelly McCulloch. So Kelly, I remember specifically Kelly last year, this was one of her first events, and she was just starting to get the hang of it, and she was just starting to blow up with clients. And she was on, she had a post that blew up, and we had talked about it, but this year she's there with a very, very solid, high frontline volume ED business. She has coaches on her team, and she even brought a coach to this event. So Kelly, we would love to hear from you.
Thank you. I appreciate you asking me to speak tonight. One of the things that stood out to me that I wanted to share with you guys, first of all, every time I see each of you tonight in these little boxes, I remember what you were dressed up as in the Decades Party. And that's the vision that I have of everybody. So it's a lot of fun. Like, oh yeah, she was this, she's doing this. Okay. Anyway, whenever I stood in the line to get a picture with Dr. A, I stood in that line for a little over an hour. because it was important to me to get a picture with him. And it wasn't just a quick little, you jump over there, get a picture. He talks to you when you're there. Why? Because he cares about us. He cares about what's happening to us. He cares, he cares about our clients too, but he cares about us and what's happening to us and what we're doing. And so he asked me, we changing the world? And I was like, absolutely. And I was like, my background is clinical dietetics and nutrition. I'm used to working in the medical community and with physicians, helping people get healthier. And I was like, I want our team, mine and everyone else's here, to affect so many people getting healthy that no longer need their diabetes type 2 medicine, their hypertension medicine, and their cholesterol medicine, that the pharmaceutical companies have to divert their money somewhere else because it's no longer profitable for them to do that anymore. That's what I want. Now, is that a big goal? Sure, it's a big goal, but it doesn't matter. If that's what we're thinking about, if we're thinking about the top of the mountain, then even when we get to halfway there, it's still really, really good. So there's nothing wrong with big goals. A couple of the things that stood out to me personally was, especially with what Jim was talking about, is the difference between truth and stories, because that's true. We tell ourselves these stories and we're like, well, that's the truth. That's how it is. Yeah. In my perception, my viewpoint, that's not necessarily what, and that's one of the things that bugs me when somebody say my truth and your truth, because I'm like, there's just the truth, there's just the truth. But the way we perceive it is differently. It may be differently. So the difference between truth and stories, and not letting ourselves get wrapped up in the story piece of it, to pay attention to the facts. And it's okay to feel your feelings. It's, we grow up pushing those feelings down. Oh no, it's not okay to be upset. It's not okay to be angry. I grew up in the South. You're supposed to be polite to everybody regardless, and so it's okay to feel those feelings. And one of the big quotes I wrote down in big letters with big stars was, don't let the world get in the way. Because those people out there, they don't have the dreams and goals that we have. Their biggest dream and goal is to go to the McDonald's when they get off work. Most people don't have a lot of dreams and goals, really. And so, or if they do, it's not something they're actually working toward. So don't let the world get in the way. Don't let them tell you you're weird, or you're doing something wrong, or that it's something that it's not worth it. People aren't going to listen. They don't have enough money. Bottom line is, this is not a program where people don't have enough money for. When you actually go through the health assessment with them and you ask them about how often do you go out to eat, how much are you spending each time, 9 times out of 10, they're spending way more. Most of the time, they're spending way more just going out to eat, not counting their grocery. So it's not about the money. It's about the priority. It's about their commitment. It's about what they want to do. And if it's important enough, people make the time and they find the money, if it's important enough. Okay. So one of the things that personal goals that I have in these things that I found that were motivational to me is I need to learn more about the transactional piece of the business. I'm learning, but I need to learn more about the transactional piece. I need to learn what all I can access on that back office. How many people know exactly what all the back office offers? We may notice a little bit of it or know about this or that, but we don't know about all the reports that we can run that can help us and make things easier and more organized and more efficient. And I want to learn more about that. I want to learn more about being efficient, because as I grow in my business, I grow individually and my business grows. I want to know how to be an efficient machine with my business, so that as it grows, I'm not frazzled. And I want to teach my coaches how to do that too, so that they're not frazzled and they're not burnt out. So learning more about the transactional piece, continuing with the transformation, but learning more about the transaction is a big deal to me.
Wow, Kelly, such good takeaways. I love the fire. You've got fire just coming out of you. And that reminder between the facts versus a story. And Jim said, facts don't cause people to be upset. It's the stories that we tell ourselves. And not because somebody cancels, the fact that they cancel, it's the story we make up about that cancellation. Man, so many good nuggets in there. Next, let's move to Julie Tracy. Julie, this was your first leadership event. We would love to hear from you.
Okay, well, I'm sitting here looking at my notes and I've got Pat down next to one, Meg down, Kelly down. So you guys have covered a lot of the really good stuff, but I really appreciated the opportunity to be invited to the event. My background is a little bit different probably than a lot of people. And I've done 20 years of corporate life, and then I've owned my own business for 15 years and just started with Optavia about a year and a half ago. And I've always been very much kind of type A, independent, analytical, that kind of thing. And so and I've been to a lot of training and a lot of seminars and stuff, but Optavia is very different. I mean, Optavia really is about helping people, and not helping people, supporting people, but basically transforming lives and making changes that that basically change people's lives. So it's been the seminar was really good for me to start more realizing about how important the community is, and how important feelings and emotions and things like that are. Just hearing things, in our little breakout sessions about whenever you get asked a question, respond with a question. And I know Meg does that to me all the time, and it drives me crazy, but I got to get better at doing that with, prospective clients, prospective coaches, so you can really drill down deeper and get to their why and what motivates them. And the whole thing with talking about being, they talk about drama and being a victim. And when Jim said that 95% of people are always in the to me, why is everything happening to me, state 95% of the time, really hit home. So anyway, I guess the quote that hasn't been discussed that I thought resonated the most with me was, if you don't sacrifice for what you want, your want will be your sacrifice. And then a few things that I'm going to be doing differently is definitely setting goals and setting high goals. I want to retire with Optavia. I want to sell my business and retire with Optavia. I need to be more social, and I'm committed to starting 3 conversations a day, joining some groups, getting out more, posting more, doing more email and texting to my clients in both my businesses. And another neat thing was my story. I realized, because my story is different than a lot of people's. I actually lost the weight by myself 3 years ago. And so I've figured out now what I need my story to be. And I know what Optavia can do for people, because over the last year and a half, I've seen it and felt it, and it's been awesome. But it really helped me define and narrow out my story. And I really appreciated all my roomies, because they were awesome. And we had a great time. And again, I appreciate the opportunity to be there. It was great.
Julie, I'm so glad you said yes. I knew you had to navigate a lot to be able to be there, making your arrangements. So I'm glad that you were there, and it definitely sounds like your vision got bigger. And I love what you said with, if you don't have that clarity and if you don't make the sacrifice, what you want is what gets sacrificed. So that's noteworthy for all of us to remember. Okay, we have one more person to share, and then we're going to share something with you. So Stacy Gillen, would love to hear from you.
Thank you, Dee. And oh my goodness, all the shares. I am going down and checking off all of the amazing things that have been shared. But I do think I have one that, when it was shared, it really just struck me to think deep. And this was the quote, and I'm going to read it. "I'll try" is admitting you're actually not willing to do it. And so I actually found myself sitting there and saying, oh my gosh, how many things have I been saying, I'll try that, instead of just saying, I'm going to do it. And so then I think it was Dr. A who actually said this, and it said, so the only question left is, am I willing? And so I sat there and I thought, okay, what are the things that I said I would try and that I need to flip now to say, where am I willing? And really getting deep into why, we're all here, right? We want to help people. We want to expand our reach, and realizing that us doing it just ourselves with individual clients, there's only so many people we can touch. And that the secret in this is multiplying the effect. And so I realize personally, I'm Blink, if you're anywhere like I am, where I know how to support clients in the 5-in-1. Have I mastered supporting coaches and bringing on new coaches? And the answer is, I kept saying, I'll try. I'm no longer going to try. I am willing. So I'm so excited to say that I actually have already done a Coach Explore today. We're waiting till May 1st and we're pulling the trigger. So we have a new coach who was added to Coaches Up for Change tonight. Couldn't be on the call tonight, but was invited. And I have 4 others that I've engaged in the discussion since then. So right now there is no more I'll try, I am willing. And I think that was probably the biggest takeaway for me, that if we are going to change the world, we cannot do it alone. We have to bring more people into this organization. We have to grow our teams so that we can multiply our efforts. So I think that was my biggest takeaway.
Man, Stacy, what a way to end this call. Thank you for sharing that. I didn't even hear that quote. So man, that was so powerful. Well, we want to respect everyone's time, but we have a very exciting announcement to share with you. So if you were excited about hearing all of the quotes and all of the information, and there's a part of you that's like, man, I want to be there the next time, would you put in the chat, that's going to be me? We would love, we want you to know we love to hang out with you, and we like to spend time together in community. And so we wanted to announce that we have determined a date and a location for something really exciting. So I'm going to share my screen, and a couple of important people are going to share an announcement.
We are here in Blue Ridge, Georgia, hanging out together, and we've had a phenomenal time. And really, we can only think of one thing that's been missing, and that's you. So we're planning
Awaken 2023 for executive directors and above,
October 5th through the 8th
in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. We'll
see you there.
Well, we are so excited about Awaken 2023. And so go ahead and save the date on your calendar, October 5th through the 8th. And here are some pictures of the incredible property that we found for you. We can also share these with you if you want to take a peek at them. But it'll be a great time for us to be together, for us to have some memories, to relax, and to dream and talk about what's next. So Dee, anything you want to share?
No, I think that's it. So we've got convention this summer, and then Awaken, you guys, is just our team. It is so special. So whatever it takes, get that in ink on your calendar, and we'll get you qualified to be there. And more importantly, think about who you can bring with you. Right? So let's all jump over. The community call is on now. It's a great topic, springing into summer. And then we are all invited, if you choose, to be on Dan Bell's call as well. So thanks. Got lots going on this week. So check the Facebook page. We have a sneak peek into coaching. There's a boot camp that starts next Saturday, but we'll get you all that in our Facebook group. All right. Thanks to everyone who shared. So good to see everybody. All right. Love you guys. Bye.